in some respects, it's amazing that you've even taken all this time as parents to invest in learning about parenting. I think you get full marks for that. Because the reality of parenting, tell me if this isn't true in your life, is nobody really anticipates before they became a parent how much work being a parent is. I mean, there's all the things at home that you have to do. You have to learn how to get your kids to sleep and eat and, do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. But then they get a little bit older and you start enrolling them in activities and in clubs and in sports and in community organizations or getting them involved at church. And it just seems like all you do as a parent is things for your kids. It's like, all right, we got to go here, we got to go there, we got to get a second car, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to get grandma to run you here. And if you have multiple kids, I mean, we only have two, but my goodness, sometimes it feels like all of us should drive, all of us should have separate vehicles, which we don't, because our lives are just too busy. And we as parents are a generation of parents who do so much for our kids. Now, in the midst of all of that, here's the question we want to wrestle with this time around. What are you actually doing for you? I mean, what do you do personally to renew yourself? And if you're like a lot of parents, we go, well, that's just not the stage and that's just not the place I'm in, because this is really about the kids. This has nothing to do with me, and I want to encourage you to rethink that. Now, our intentions are noble. We're doing things for our kids, and we're trying to sacrifice some of our pleasure and some of our time so that our kids benefit. And you would think that that's having a positive impact on our children. There was a study done recently, though, and they asked parents and children this question: what do you think your kids want most from parents? 56% of parents who were surveyed said, we believe our kids would like more time with us, that our kids just want more of our time. Do you know when they asked the kids the same question, the kids didn't say that? Fully 34% of children wish their moms were less stressed. 27% of children wish their fathers were less stressed. More than anything else, that was the number one answer, kids wish mom and dad were less stressed and less tired. So how do you deal with a reality like that? Like, let's be honest, all of this activity is on behalf of our children. We work longer, we work harder. Some of you are working 2 jobs. We run the kids here, we run the kids there, all for the sake of the progress of our children. And yet our children are telling us what we really need you to be is less stressed and less tired. And I'll be honest, I mean, in my own work and in the work that I do, there are days where I come home and I haven't got anything left in the tank. I just make a beeline for the couch. I'm tired, I'm exhausted. That's why the value that we want to talk about this time is so critical, and we call it make it personal. And as much as parents, we spend our time doing things for our kids, for our kids, for our kids, and the kids come first, we're not sure that's the best thing. In fact, today we want to talk about putting yourself first when it comes to personal growth. When was the last time as a mom, or when was the last time as a dad, you actually put yourself first? You see, the reality is you can really only give what you've got. And if you haven't got the emotional reserves for the relational work that needs to be done in the home, if you don't have the spiritual reserves for the conversations you need to have with the kids and the modeling you do with the kids, if you haven't got the emotional energy or the physical energy, you can't give it. And the only way you can get it is to take it. So when it comes to personal growth, we want to encourage you to put yourself first. Well, this is true in so many areas of our lives. It's very true spiritually. You can take your kids to church and you can take them to special activities, and all this is for the kids, for the kids, for the kids. But ultimately, I believe this is what every child is going to ask. If not out loud, then they're going to ask it quietly. Mom and Dad, I know faith is important for you, and I know you took me to church and you took me to this and we did this together, but is this actually real for you? Is this something that lives inside you? And see, the tension as a parent can be, we're so busy doing things for our kids, and we got to get up and we got to go to work, we got to go to school, we got to do this, we got to do that, that we just haven't nurtured our own spiritual growth in months or years. And ultimately, your kids don't want to know what you think is important. They actually want to know what's important to you. One of the greatest legacies we can give our children is a personal faith. And this is also true. When it's personal, people don't argue with it. They may not necessarily adopt it, but when they see something authentic, when they see that it's real, when they see you struggling in areas and you say, I don't know what to do in this moment, but I'm going to turn to God because He's real and He's personal to me. They may not automatically adopt your faith, but one thing they will know. I know from my mom, I know from my dad, that's real. I know that's authentic. And when I think back to when I was growing up, few things were more persuasive in my life than seeing an authentic faith live in the lives of my parents and other people in my relational circle. I may not have known what I believed about God, but I knew what they believed about God, and I knew it was deeply real, and deep down, I wanted what they had. One of the very best gifts, and it's so hard to find in a world this busy, but one of the very best gifts that you can give your children is a personal faith that lives in you. And the question is, how are you going to make the time to make that happen and to make it personal?